Unfortunately, yet again on the front pages, it's about what's happening with some of the fans. Dundee this evening have blasted Rangers fans, some of them, for unacceptable actions at Dens Park last night. We all know now about the delay, 18 minutes, because of the massive pyrotechnic display. The game was stopped for 18 minutes in total. So a spokesman for the SFPFL says the extensive use of pyrotechnics at the match last night is very concerning and unwelcome. The disruption to the game is obviously extremely regrettable. They're awaiting a report from the police and the delegate. Andy, we know there's been talk this week as well, Celtic banning some of the Green Brigade at Celtic Park. What can we say about this? There's a headline today, flaming idiots. Some of it tends to be younger supporters. What can we say about it? It would be great if we could stamp it out.
It would be great, and I think the clubs need to do a bit more. I mean, taking a pyrotechnic into a football ground is an offence, and there were so many there last night. I think it's a very tall order to ask stewards to search everyone before they go in. But you need to do something, and they can be thrown on to. We've got a number of plastic surfaces. It costs a lot of money to repair that. I know a lot of people who've got breathing difficulties, asthma. It's not good for them. That can be a health issue. We saw the smoke alarms going off inside the stadium. And it's never a good look when the police start taking control. So, it's nothing new. I've been at Scottish football games for a lot of years, and I've seen pyrotechnics for a long time. And they talk about taking robust action. I've rarely seen it. I do remember Anne Budge at Hearts, who banned or rather closed a section of her own ground because she didn't like the things that were being thrown onto the pitch. She didn't like the offensive singing. She didn't like a lot of things, and she took action. So I would commend her for that in that club. But it's up to the individuals themselves, and there does seem to be, they're not listening to the senior people at the clubs, and this is good. I'm not talking about anything to do with Palestine or Israel. If we're talking about pyrotechnics, it's an offence to take them into a ground, but nothing seems to get done about it.
Graham, from a player's point of view, how would it affect you? You know, the delay, the game's just kicked off and then you stop. There was a delay anyway because of the weather and the roadworks. I was in Dundee last week. It's horrendous trying to get between Perth and Dundee, but that's Scotland these days. But what's the effect, you think, on players who've just started to play in a cold, wet night?
Yeah, as you said there, there's already a delay of 45 minutes before the game, so the players are getting there late. They've just come out, there's 2 or 3 minutes into the game and they're back off again. So listen, as players, we all want fans to be passionate and we want them to be loud and get right behind us, but there's a line, and as Andy says there, it's an offence to take these things into stadiums. So how do we eradicate it? I'm not so sure, but I think something has to be done about it. Yeah,
there has to be, doesn't it? Maybe CCTV, because there's so many good young fans as well. You know, we don't want to damn everybody.
Oh, we want supporters of every age group, and I think a lot of supporters at a lot of clubs, they've got their own little section where they can be the heartbeat of the stadium, the heartbeat of the club, and at other times they can be embarrassing and bring a bit of shame onto the club. And I think a bit of dialogue wouldn't go amiss. I'm going to Man City at the weekend, and I know because I've been there before. They'll ask me to open the boot of my car if I've got a hold all, if I've got a bag. They will search it. They put a mirror under the bottom of the car. Now, I know that English football is awash with money, and at Man City you might get 55,000 there, and they invest a lot in stewards, and you're searched everywhere before you go into the ground. That's a costly exercise. I'm not sure what Scottish clubs can do here. They can certainly do a lot more. And you mentioned it just there, Paul, about maybe investing in more CCTV, because you know who you're giving your tickets to, you know where they are.
Yeah, listen, Andy, I think you're right there. It costs money to eradicate these things, but I've been at football games where you are getting searched with the stewards before the game, but they're not thorough enough, I don't think, before you go into the games. And I think they need to find a way of checking people and making sure these things aren't coming into stadiums.